our first objective is just kind of talk about this interim system, or this new system, which will be, when Angela does her part about talking, she will let us know why it's interim. But just to kind of make sure we have the bugs worked out. Everyone is so far accessing the document and all of that. I would say the one thing that we need to make sure is when you switch with somebody, or if you fill in with somebody, if you will make sure and make that switch on the document, so that whoever is pulling it up it's an accurate representation of who's going to be there that week. But is everybody finding the links to okay? And have we done videos and things? How you guys don't have videos? Taylor's not here. You found them, and they okay.
They're good.
Yay! Okay, I think that's great. Lunch Bunch is rolling right along, and you could tell this time when I mentioned it, like on Sunday when I was talking to each of the families and stuff, it was like, you could tell they have like a little muscle memory for that. Like, oh, that's this week. Okay, that, all right, we've got it. So you could tell that there's some of that and talking about, oh, hey, there's a theme and all that stuff. So I think that is great. One of the things, there's changes. Kelsey is moving to San Francisco. And Kelsey Sheen is home for the semester. So she left on Sunday. She's home for this semester and applying to Sonoma State's teaching credential for the spring semester. But if she doesn't get in, that's kind of her fleece. She desperately wants to come back because she's like, this is my first church home to feel like it's a home. Like even going home right now, she's like, I am going to try out some churches. So, she really does want God to call her back here, but you can feel this is where she needs to be for this semester. So we have a few people coming back from Sonoma State students, but we have a lot of, I've spent a lot of time this summer building some parent recruitment. We have a few families who are going to do a 1-month trial of like greeting with our team, starting with our promotion Sunday, which is August 12th. So I don't know if it'll be enough people to do like this is what's going to stay on, but it's definitely a piece that would help build ownership with our parents and allow our older kids or even our younger kids, our friendly kids, that want to take ownership with that. So, but that also helps because especially in the summer, 2 teachers is enough, but it's hard to get a class started with 1 teacher and 1 teacher out there. But if they're doing the greeting, they're doing a better job of the greeting because that's their only job. Then we can actually be connecting with the kids in those relational stations and things like that. So those are some things that are coming, and I have some people who are like, okay, like Tyler's going to partner with Eris for Lunch Bunch Sunday on the first Sundays of the month, which is very exciting. Not next week because he's still in Hawaii, but
rough life.
Rough life. Yeah, but so that's great. And then Helga is going to be partnering with me in Kelsey Sheen's spot, and that's the stations week. And I'm going to put her on the craft station.
Shocking.
Right, because that's where we can, that is going to be an easy way for her to relate, that she gets how crafts break down, and it's very exciting.
Wait, your week is the stations week?
The 3 rotating stations. One is
mine is the other one because I did stations this last month and I was like, wait, okay,
because we had 5 Sundays, which I almost was like, oh, we canceled the 29th. You could go back to your. But it was already done and prepped, and it was okay. Yeah. Got it. So we added that in.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Okay, you're all right.
Back to my normal schedule.
So it will be Ivy because she's bumped to the second week. So Ivy and Helga and I will be doing the stations, which is fun. I think that's all the personnel pieces to that. Leads, which is just us right here. still connect with your people. There's not a whole like, here's the plan, but read through, connect with them. I still would like that team building piece of that, because in this process of less prep, I would like us to still pour ourselves into the relational aspect of that piece. So, when we're on getting our people connected.
Saying what kind of things?
What do you mean?
Well, is that just an open to your interpretation, connect with your team?
Team building has always been open to our interpretation. So sometimes we do prayers for our team. Sometimes it is just like, hey, let's meet early. Let's,
Okay.
Sometimes it's just vision casting for, hey, this is this month's theme. That's a good one. Like, how does this play out for you? It's a conversation between you as people instead of just teachers, logistics, those kinds of things.
I like to make a full breakfast for my team and bring it in.
None of your team is here to corroborate that.
Yeah, exactly. Bruce is like, wait, what?
We should call it breakfast bunch, not lunch bunch. Brunch bunch.
Oh. Ooh, that's a tongue twister.
Hey, if an ESL can see.
Nice.
I had a comment about AV stuff, but I can do it at the end.
Nope, let's do it.
Okay, so I like being able to play some of the music videos that are
Bethel.
Hillsong and Bethel has some really good music videos, and the first Sunday that we did it, the kids, not half the kids, but a good portion of the kids just sat and kind of like watched it and then danced to it. I don't know if they did that when you guys were there. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So I paid an extra $3 or $4 or $5 a month for YouTube Red, which allows you to have them play one after the other without those lame commercials in between. So what I've been doing is, if it's not my Sunday, I'll go in, like for Lisa, I'll log in with my Gmail login or Google login so you can watch it. But then I was like, I don't really want to have to go log out every time. So I don't know if we want to expense that and just have a church Gmail account and do it on that one, or even if you guys care about it. But I like doing that. I like having that on in the background. I mean, obviously, once we start doing a group thing, I'll shut it down.
Okay. Let me look and see.
Think about it.
We just got some stuff. We just got some music videos from Orange. And so it's an actual CD that you could put in and probably loop through and see if that's the same
DVD.
DVD? Okay.
It's a DVD. So
yeah, totally.
If that has the same effect on it, but I love those. The ones that you're talking about have been
and it's not that much.
Awesome.
A month, it's just
right. Yeah, and maybe for this interim.
Yeah. Okay.
Section that would be great. I think we're doing really well. I think we're making the switch to relational. Like, I see the emphasis on connecting with families. I see the emphasis on letting the schedule, like the rhythm of the morning, dictate it more than the schedule of the morning dictate it. I see people enjoying kids, being, it feels like we can be more in the moment. I love that piece. The other thing that I think is so much better, and I'm not sure exactly why, the cleanup is happening way better. Like when I go in there during the week, that room is much better put away, and I don't know, maybe that's the whole deal with like when it's our week, we're setting up and we're taking down, so we know what it looked like before. I don't know. I'm not sure why that is, but it seems like just having been there during the summer a lot during the week, I expect to walk in and need to clean up some things, but maybe there's less little pieces with the curriculum also. That part's helpful. So I think that's great. And it's somewhat of a miracle with as much change and way God is calling people to different places that we have stayed
open.
Yes, and seemingly it looks like less work on us, which I don't know if that's how you feel. That's how it looks to me from the outside. Even with all of the craziness, it definitely it looks like less mental or emotional scrambling from us, which makes me happy when I look at us, and it makes me happy to be me. So, anyway, I don't know if there's other thoughts you guys have about this, and this, you know, what started as a summer system and is going to be an interim system, but, or questions. Do we have questions?
I have a comment. I'm not naturally a creative person in general when it comes to teaching stuff, but the new, well, and granted now I'm on Lunch Bunch or Brunch Bunch. So
Look at that, just rolls off your tongue.
it does. But even before, there was room for me to come up with ideas on the fly that I normally wouldn't, because it's not as structured, and because it wasn't like, oh, I got to get them with this part because then we got another 20 minutes on this section, and if I don't do that, then we're going to... So it fosters more creativity for me, and it does help me be more, like you said, in the moment and with the kids, which I really like, because I don't really know how to do that in general.
Yeah, well, it helps you, I think, helps me enjoy the ministry more, because you remember why you're there, which is to connect with those kids.
Right.
You know, instead of, I got to get this all done on schedule. So, okay. The last thing is, parents are the ones who are actually filling in the holes. There's, you know, Jameson Watts has already filled in. We've called, you know, when we've had a time that we couldn't get a switch. So if that is the case, they drop their kids off. They're familiar enough, and their face might be familiar to you. But just remember, you know, even if our expectation of them is that they're just an extra body, communicate with them. Give them enough ramp up that allows their nerves to also be down. So, you know, reassure them, okay, this is where I'm going to look to you, like when I'm up in front or when we're doing these transitions. Sometimes the young ones get squirrely. Or just give them some things, key things to look out for, that help them feel like they know their purpose. You know, or I'm actually just going to have you, when we move away from these tables, if you'll just clean up those tables, we've got the kids handled over here, and then you can just join us whenever. That helps them kind of know when to step in, or when, you know, what's kind of expected of them. So, I don't know. I just think it's good to remember how unfamiliar it feels when you've not been working in there. You know, when we were on this college tour, we went and visited churches. It's like, it is good for me to be a visitor at a church every once in a while. You know, it just reminds you what it feels like and just what you're looking for. So that's what I'm going to pass on to you guys, is when parents are in there, they're familiar with it, so it's going to seem like, oh, I don't want to boss them around. I think that's why sometimes we don't give people that information, but we forget that that's actually helpful and reassuring to them, more than like, why is she so bossy? It's like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, that's helpful. So, you know, just as we involve parents in that. So, okay, I think that's my thing on this current interim system. And then our next video is going to be Angela talking about where we're going.